Hi Betnana, look at this. All of your hair has picked up product because there isn't much. The number one major thing that is just a turn off about having micro braids. I am telling you no lies, I have discovered this. I have seen this firsthand. There's probably not volume for you, like you're like, what is she talking about? But hi ladies, so here I am with a new video. And today's video is very important for anyone who has decided to join me and this ancient way of growing our hair, okay? We all know that having mini braids on your hair is very important. Having mini braids, having micro braids, okay? But how many can you go? How micro can you go? I would know this, especially me, because you guys saw the roller coaster ride that I was just on all 2023, changing sizes from this size to that one. Because I started my channel on this size, and because I was so frustrated during takedown, I decided, okay, let me not torture myself this much. And then I made them bigger. I made them too big, and then I decided to turn them into micro braids. And the initial idea was for them to go back to how they were, but they just became smaller than that. And I was wowed by those small braids. I really loved them. I loved those braids so much that I decided next time I'm going to make them even smaller. And so here we are right now. This is the smallest my braids have ever been. And I've had these braids for 9 weeks now. Because the date today is the 17th of October 2023. So these braids are 9 weeks old. And I've learned a lot about them, like a lot of negatives and positives these past 9 weeks. And today that is what we are going to talk about. I do highly recommend that you play around with different sizes and just experiment, because that is how you're going to truly know that, okay, this is the size for me. If you are a minimalist, a lazy natural, and you don't like being in your hair all the time, then you are going to find that certain sizes do not do it for you. And if you're someone who likes to always be in your hair all the time, maybe you're someone who likes to style your braids and do this, then certain sizes are not going to please you. So be mindful of who you are and take into account the type of hair that you have. If you have thick hair, then there are right sizes for you. And if you have thin hair, then you are going to find that some sizes are not good for you. And let me put it out there that I have fine hair. So this video is coming from an opinion of someone who has fine hair. So things that I've listed as pros may be cons for you. And maybe things that I've listed as cons may actually be pros for you. Okay? So staying 9 weeks with these micro braids, I've discovered a lot of positives and negatives. So let us just get into them. I don't know whether I should start with the good or the bad. Let us just start with the pros. I like these braids a lot. I like them. I love them. I really do love them. I like how they shape my head. I like them. I really do like them. The way they look, how they are. Okay, I love the micro braids. That for me is the first positive. I know it doesn't count, but I like small braids. The way they look over bigger braids. So the first pro is that they give me volume. And yes, I know that this is very flat for maybe for you, because maybe you have thick hair, but I and everyone else who has fine hair, who has thick hair, this volume is noticeable. It's life for us. There's probably not volume for you, like you're like, what is she talking about? But everyone who has fine hair knows that it has good volume. So that is the first thing that I like about my braids. I like how they look. I like how they shape my face. I love them. I love them. It's true authentic volume, okay? It's not just air. It's not just air. It's real volume. If you have twists on, that is not volume. That is not real volume. It's not 100% volume. It's 50% air. And no, I am not bashing mini twists. I am not bashing mini twists. If you have mini twists on your hair right now, you are doing good. You are doing good. Your hair is protected. You are doing better than someone who has their hair out, who stays with their hair out. Okay, we just cannot avoid the fact that mini twists cannot lock air out of your hair. Okay, the volume that you get from mini twist is just, it's air basically, because your hair is just puffed up. But with braids, the hair is compressed, as in braids are airtight, so the air cannot get in between your hair and leave it dry. So I love the volume of these micro braids. When I have mini braids on, like braids that are a bit on the bigger side, they are not as voluminous as this, because they take big chunks of hair and compress the hair into something that is flat. You know, braids compress hair, and that is a pro, and that is a good thing about braids. Okay, they keep hair locked. Hair just wants to be locked. I am just saying that when you have bigger braids, then you don't get this volume. Okay, so enough about volume. Let's move on to point number 2. The second thing that I like about these micro braids is that they absorb hair butter just like that. They absorb product very easily. Like, I just anoint my hair with hair butter, and just like that, it has picked it up. You are, it's like having your hair out. I cannot explain it any further than that. They instantly pick up a product, and you realize that all of your hair has picked up product, because there isn't much. If you anoint here with braids that are a bit on the bigger side, you have to squeeze them. You have to work hard for the product to even get to the hair that is in between. I don't know if you can hear my explanation, but they accept the hair butter very fast. The third thing is that they stay fresh for longer periods of time. Okay, that is another point that I like about them. My hair right now is 9 weeks old. And yes, it's getting old, like it needs to be rebraided right now. But if you look at me from this distance, like, they stay presentable for longer periods of time. Even though I have new growth right now, they are still presentable. But I've found that they still need to be rebraided at 8 weeks. But they do stay fresh for longer periods of time. When your braids are a bit bigger, you find that after a month you have to make them fresh again. They are just wild and crazy. So as for micro braids, they stay fresh for longer. They don't freeze up as fast as bigger braids do. Another thing that I like about micro braids is that you just install them. After you've installed them, you never have to do anything else to your hair again. You have a style that is going to last you for 2 months until you rebraid again in 2 months. Okay, that is a very big positive for me. Another positive thing about these micro braids is that they are just like having your hair out. Okay, you can style them literally in any style. They are versatile. You can do any style that you like. They are just like having your hair out. You can play, you can do whatever. So right now, let us go on and talk about cons of having micro braids. If you're considering micro braids, then you better listen to me very carefully right now. and know exactly what you are going to be dealing with. Okay. The number one major thing that is just a turn off about having micro braids, it is that they are just like having your hair out. And yes, I did mention this in the pros for a good reason, and now I am mentioning it for a negative reason right now. They are just like having your hair out, and you do not want that. There is a reason why we braid our hair, okay? To keep it intact. And you will find that if you have micro braids, like braids that are a bit on the smaller side, the ends, you have to leave a lot of hair out. When you are braiding, you have to stop somewhere, maybe here, and all of this is hair that is out. And so this hair, because it is fussy hair is going to curl up. It is going to develop these curls. And these curls, they are your worst nightmare. I am telling you no lies. I have discovered this. I have seen this firsthand. I do not understand why we like the curls very much. Okay, the curls are good when you have braids that are a bit on the bigger side. I remember when my braids were a bit bigger. Okay, I loved the curls at the ends. I loved the curls, and right now with micro braids, no, baby. The curls are a nightmare because you see, right now, today was the day of anointing my hair. So I just anointed my hair today. And if I dare go to bed like this, then boom, single strand knots. I am telling you no lies. When your hair is in curls like this, you have to braid your hair, or you have to thread it, as in stretch it with thread, African threading, so that the curls can be loose, so that the curls can stay stretched like this. Maybe look like this, but not coil up. I don't know. I did take footage the other day when this happened. So let us take this curl for an example. If I do not braid it, what is going to happen to it is that it is going to slowly close up like this, as in shrink up further and form a knot. And this happens in just 2 days. So you cannot even go 2 days without touching your hair when you have micro braids. They are high maintenance like that. And you guys know how much of a lazy natural I am. Like, I just can't. I have too many other commitments. I cannot be on my hair all the time, to a point where I cannot stay with the braids even for 2 days. I have to baby them. I can't. So what is going to happen is that they are going to form a knot, and that knot becomes single strand knots. When you have micro braids, you have to be in your hair all the time because they are just like having your hair out. You have to have a maintenance routine that is just crazy. You have to be diligent. You have to be diligent. You cannot be a lazy natural if you have micro braids, because if you slack even a little bit, then say goodbye to your ends. And if you're not retaining your ends, then you're not retaining length. The whole point of having mini braids for me was to enjoy my freedom and do other things and not have to worry about hair. That is the whole point of the reason why I decided to go the ancient way of taking care of my hair. Another deal breaker for me and these micro braids is shrinkage. I love me some length. Give me inches any day. Do not take inches away from me. Oh, but Nana, these braids, they shrink up. Look at this. Just look at this. Compared to, but Nana, maybe this is like 4 inches. It's too much shrinkage for me. Maybe if these were normal micro braids like the ones that I had previous to these ones, they would maybe come right here. But the problem with these micro braids now is that they have no body. They are lightweight. They have no weight. Can't if they had a bit of, a bit of mass there, a bit of body. I do not know what to call it. Maybe they wouldn't be shrinking up this much. Shrinkage is not good for me. I know other people like embrace the shrinkage, whatever this, that, but no, not for me. Not if I wanna retain length. Because shrinkage for me it just means single strand knots. I bet Nana, look at this. As if I washed them. But I didn't wash my hair. When I was washing my hair, back when I was washing my hair, I didn't mind the shrinkage because I knew that I am putting water in my hair. And so the water is shrinking the hair up. I am not expecting true length of the micro braids all the time. But maybe take maybe 2 inches off, but my like 3-4 inches. Why? And another con is that they take forever to put on and they take forever to take down. But everyone knows this, like that is normal. If you want to go the way of micro braids, then you can expect that take down would be difficult and installing the braids would be difficult. Like it would take a lot of patience. So that is like, but it is still a con. Which is why I highly recommend getting a braider, getting someone to take down your braids. Even I am still looking for that person. Like, it's very difficult to find the right person to handle your hair. But if you do find someone like that, then hold on to them. Taking down braids or even installing them is very difficult. That is still a con. Ain't nobody likes having hands up all the time doing hair. That is not natural. That is just not natural. I don't think that is how God intended it. Human beings have communities for a reason. Raising a child is not the only thing that takes a village. So does doing your hair, so does taking down your hair. Another con of doing micro braids is that they are a bit damaging to the hair shaft when you are either taking them down or maybe just styling them, doing whatever. If the braid was a bit bigger, okay, it would be easier to take down with little to no damage. But just because the hair is very small, so I hope you get what I am saying because I cannot explain it, but I feel it in my spirit. I hear what I am saying, but even though I cannot explain it, because the braid is too small, then it is damaging a bit to your hair. If the braid was a bit bigger, then so those are the pros and the cons of having these micro braids. But guys, out of all the cons that I have mentioned, I still really do like the micro braids. I love the look of them. I really just love them. The good news is that finally, out of all the roller coaster rides that I have been on, looking for the correct size for my fine hair, all 2023, I have finally decided on a size. I'm going to do this size that you see on the screen right now. The one that I had before this one. I loved those braids so much. Micro braids are me. They are my thing. This is my life. I could say I'm at a point where I cannot go back to bigger braids. And yes, of course, this might change maybe as my hair gets longer and longer and longer. Okay. Maybe I am going to prefer maybe bigger braids. Okay, because I know maybe once my hair hits brush strap length, then I'm going to go back to the size that I started the channel with. As of right now, this is the size that I am choosing, and I am going to stay like that because those braids, they treated me very well. If I can tell you, those braids needed no maintenance at all. They just needed me to anoint them, and that was it. Some days, and I know this is not something to be proud of, okay, but it's reality, guys. Sometimes let us just be real, okay. Other nights I would even go to bed without the chunky braids, the four chunky braids that I usually do, even without a head wrap. And those braids just kept my hair. And what I liked about them is that at the end, yeah, I could braid as far as possible and maybe leave something that is, maybe leave this part out. And right now, with these micro braids that are very small, I left more hair than I would have wanted to. Okay, so I'm going back to those braids, baby. And what I liked about those braids, they did not shrink up this much. Yes, they did shrink up because all braids are going to shrink up, but they were a bit heavier, so they didn't shrink up too much. They were not high maintenance. And what I like is that the pros that I mentioned in this video are still applicable to that size too. So I am definitely going back to that size. So yes, guys, I hope that you find a size that is good for you. If bigger braids are right for you, they are working for you, then do that. Like I said, I recommend mini braids, however big or however small you decide to go. That is dependent upon you, your hair type, your lifestyle, how often you wash your hair. So that's it, okay, guys. That is the end of the video. It was a bit of a lengthy video. So thanks for spending your time with me. I am going to see you in my next video. Bye.